remember because time is limited for me, and I want to put out the story. So I'm gonna take you guys back right now to 1979, 1980, and 1981 in Westtown. I was 13 or 14, 14, 15 maybe. So one day I'm on Blackhawk, no, Bosworth, by division, by our clubhouse. And we had two buildings. And it had a first floor, basement, first, second, third, and an attic. Two of the same buildings next to each other. They were basically abandoned. Uh, but they were from the 1880s, and they were huge. They had four basement apartment, first, third, and first, second, and third floor. That's four apartments in the front, four apartments in the back, plus huge attics that the gents that we use for our clubhouses and gangs. And plus, we lived in some of those apartments there. And then in the back was a courthouse. Behind there on Boston Division, a courthouse, a courtyard. And then before you get to Dead Man Alley, we had a building that was in the back that is a coach house. So you had to go through the coach house, underneath the coach house, and come out through the alley. And underneath the coach house were all kinds of rooms and all kinds of shit that if you went through underneath there and they wanted to grab you, the gents, they'll pull you right in there. You were dead. All right? You were not getting out of there. All right? So in that building, so one day back in man, it had to be like 80 or something. I'm out there. I'll tell you who was out there. I was out there. Little Rita was out there, but she was down a little bit more. Some of the other gents was there. Jose Torres, known as Little Man, Shorty, he was out there. Yeah, Shorty was out there, and the Bosworth, or yeah, it was Blackhawk. Oh no, Bosworth. It was real dark. All right, so we got our buildings there and all this. A van pulls up. I'm there. Little Rita was more down. She was with, like I said, Jose Torres and a few other head. There was lady gents over there. Whoever they were that was out there, Rita had them cuffed. Rita was over there. Jose, Jose Torres, Shorty was there because I was with him, but we had split up for a minute. So this van pulls up. It's a brown van. It looks brown or dark, right? Orange or something. I don't know what the fuck. There's a white guy. It's got a sheet where you can't see in the back. So this white guy gets out. He comes out, and at that time, those buildings were run by an older Harrison gent. There was a killer. This man named, his real name was, I could talk about it because I know he's fucking dead. Dead, dead, dead. He had to be. He did. If not, he's in prison somewhere. I don't give a fuck. But his name was William Haggerty. And William Haggerty was a hillbilly, gunman, bank robber, armed robber, stick up man, every motherfucking thing. Burglar, cat burglar, everything. So he had, for whatever reason, whoever owned those properties, and I'll tell you more, he had those two buildings and he was the official person in charge of the buildings. So he let all the gents, we just took over. He was there too. William, Bill had guns. And I mean, I tell you, anyways, so this dude pulls up, a van pulls up, a white boy comes out. That I later learned his name is Robin Gecht. Get this now. Robin Gecht. Geght. He got 120 years. He's in Menard Penitentiary right now. Look him up. So he steps out. I seen him, and he's talking to Bill, right? Bill, he told Bill, come over here, because Bill was down there on security, too, because Bill was security. He was out there. Bill, come here. You know, Bill. I'm standing back, and he's saying something to Bill in his ear, and he opens the slide door of the van. I'm standing right there on this side, and Bill looks over, I look in, and what I see two white motherfuckers. That one of them was Andrew Cocorales, and Andrew was executed in the 19. He was the last one to be executed here in this state, but I seen him, Andrew, holding the girl's mouth. It was a black girl, and another guy that he's in prison too. I'm trying to think his name, but I don't know. I never testified against him because no one ever listened to me, and I didn't even know what happened. But be honest with you, but what happened was that girl, they wanted to take into the buildings that Bill Haggerty ran, and how that is that this guy Robin Geck was Bill Haggerty's brother-in-law because Bill Haggerty was married to Robin Geck's sister. All right, I'm trying to think what her name was because I remember Julie, maybe Julie. That was her name, Julie. Julie was Bill Haggerty, and they had a little son, and he was living down there too in the buildings. The Gents ran. Bill lived. He couldn't move anywhere. First floor, second. He had all control of the buildings, but there was nobody living there no more. But anyway, so what happened was, Robin Gitt came over to Bill, tried to get him to I remember what he had. Let me go in there. Bill said. I remember Bill looked at me too. Looked at me and he looked at Robin. Robin had his back to me. I'm looking that way. And he told him no. So then Robin Gitt slide the door shut with the girl in there, and they had him, Andrew Cocorales, and the other dude that was Spitzer. Spritzer was his fucking name. Spritzer was the one that I seen, and I could identify his ass, but I was never called for a witness because nobody knew and I didn't know. So this guy, Robin Gitt, got in the van, and drove off. Next thing I know, that girl showed up dead by the Chicago River on Ashland over on the north branch of Chicago River, north of on Ashland. When you go over to Ashland, you got to go over the Chicago River, right there by like Elson or Clybourne, somewhere underneath there. Showed up dead, and that was the girl that I seen. And I got her name, but I can't remember. But that's what happened. And plus, they went over there and shot a bunch of warlords and kings, and they were representing Harrison Gents, and they weren't. But they killed like 3. And this isn't all the. I got the reports on this. Is not what I'm saying. I got the fucking reports on this shit. But I was there too. I seen them. So then in '83, when I got locked up for 2 attempted murders, they broke them down to aggravated batteries. The dude who was handcuffed to me was this motherfucker Robin Gick. All right? So I'm looking at this motherfucker Robin Gick from Cook County. Motherfucker. No, not Cook County. They brought him out from the tombs of Joliet. I was in Joliet, and they were transferring me to Menard. So they bring this motherfucker out from the tombs, and everybody knows it's somebody big. But I didn't know. I wasn't paying attention. They handcuffed me to this fucking white boy. He got a Dutch haircut. He looks like he can't kill a fly. I'm on the bus with this motherfucker. I look at him, I start thinking, man. I asked him, dude, you look familiar to me. Are you from North Side somewhere? Because he didn't say nothing. He didn't even talk. He stood quiet. Then all of a sudden, there was a black brother. I don't know what he was, Vice Lord, or GD, whatever. He goes, hey, Latino. I said, what's up, bro? He's in the front of the bus because we're getting you can still talk though. God, we're getting transferred from at that time. That was at Logan. We're getting transferred from Joliet Penitentiary, and the bus came in there by where you take a shower and all that. They lined you up there. You get in the bus. They bring the people out from who's gonna get transferred. They bring the motherfuckers out from the tombs. They got a whole bunch of motherfucking years, 100, 120, whatever. And that's what this guy had, 120. They brought him out. They handcuffed him. They let you take a shower first. You take a shower, wash your ass, wash your back, wash your nuts real quick, get in, and then get handcuffed. And they handcuffed this motherfucker to me. So that black brother tells me, he's telling me, he yells back, "Hey, Latino." I said, "What's up, brother?" Because I'm going to address him as a brother. "Brother, what's up? Don't you know who you got handcuffed next to you?" I said, "What?" Like, what? There's people talking all over you. I'm like, what? What are you talking about, man? He goes, "Latino, look at that dude." I'm like, what? What the fuck you talking about? And then finally he says, "That's the dude, Latino, that was fucking killing all the women on the north side, cutting their breast off, eating the breast, and then making a hole in the breast and fucking them with their penis and all that." Now what? Then I remember who he was, and I looked at him and I said, "You're Bill's brother." And when he said that to him, I looked at him, he went, bro, I'm gonna make that. Look at me right now. I hate doing it, but that's what he did to me. Sinister fuck. And I looked at him and said, "Motherfuck." I was like, what should I do? I thought about wrapping the cuff around his neck. But I'm like 18 years old. I got a kid. I got everything. But he freaked me out. Then when I got to Menard, as soon as I got there, they called us first. They called him first. I had to come out with him first. They took the cuff off of him. They took him, and I had guards all around him. They took him to PC. He's alive right now. He did some interviews. And on the real, I'm not lying, I'm going to try to get an interview with this motherfucker. Because he can make phone calls. And if he agrees, I'll put him on the phone call with me. And you'll see. And his name is, like I said, damn, let me think. Robin, Robin, Gecht. Geght. Look this nigger up. And also look up the Chicago Rippers crew. So, I get to Menard, they take him somewhere else and all that shit. Years later, I end up with Thomas Cocoradas, who was one of the Rippers crew too, that I know. And Thomas was a goofy. They just he was nothing. He had nothing. They got him on the murder, but they got him on the rape, and then it showed the rape was no good, whatever the fuck it was. And he ended up getting out, 3 years ago? He's living somewhere secluded, and he's in a comp agency, some kind of program that he's going to stay the rest of his life there, But I don't believe that Thomas was involved that deep. Maybe he was involved, but not that deep. But there was 17 murders they could attribute to him, plus a lot more. And they were vicious. They caught one lady that was white somewhere about North Avenue, por ahí, por la Clark y la, well, maybe West Town. So, and they hit her with a hatchet in the head, bro. And she was just a regular person. They were women haters. They were murdering women, So Robin Gick, beware that he got 120. He's ready to come out in maybe another 15 years. Because this happened in 1980s. 80 to now, that's 40 years that he served or more, and his sentence was 120. So he's doing 120 under the old law, which means you do 60 only. He'll be out again. He'll be out again. And when he's out again, he's a Satan, a devil. I got a guy, I was locked up with Joe Wenglars. And Joe Wenglars got convicted for a murder, a racist murder, because he was a freak and he killed a Puerto Rican dude. He confessed to me. We're locked up together. I asked him. And he looked at me. He didn't want to really tell me, but I told Joe, we're in Chicago. It don't make no difference. He said, I killed a Puerto Rican guy with a hatchet. He killed him with a fucking hatchet or a knife or something and got away for like 20 years until his wife turned him in because he was a racist at that time. He changed. I'm not saying he's a racist now, but he paid his dues. But, and I'm not saying that. But yes, you're going to be tricked. You can be tricked to be a racist. I could be tricked to be a racist if I want to. But the thing is this, you got to be careful, bro. And Joe told me the same thing, bro. I was a young kid, man. I really didn't know. I said, you know what? You know who you talking to? Because, yeah, Puerto Rican. I said, yeah. And I told him, bro, you do what you got to do with that case to get it off you. I ain't going to hold it against you as long as you change. And he said, yeah, but I don't. And I'm going to trust him for that. You know? We do a lot of fucked up shit. So, all of us. And me, out of everybody. I'm no person to be talking about nothing because I've done it all. I fucked up all the way along. But I learned my lesson. And that's all it is about. Learn your lesson, get straight, and do it easy. If you're a young guy, man, and when I was in my 20s, if I know what I was know now, I would have had my wife, my kids, my building, my house, my work all lined up, calmadito, and if I wanted to go out with my boys or have my guys go, we could have done it straight without no trouble. All of us. And that goes for everybody. Black, white, Puerto Rican, Asian, uh, Pakistan, Afghanistan, all our Arab brothers, all our Arab, assalamu alaikum to all my Arab brothers, assalamu alaikum. And we could do better. So let's do that. And that's my little account right now of what I was talking about, which I actually forget.